Ladies and gentlemen, finally, our final story this evening, Batman Ben, written by Matthew Brown and read by Cody Edgar.
Let's go, Cody!
It's 1 a.m. and I'm standing in the middle of the street in St. Louis, shrooming my ass off, and mesmerized by the flashing blue and red lights of two police cars. I squint, trying to stare into the epicenter of their brightness, hoping that's where the gnomes hid my self-confidence. It's not. And I turn to run away because now I'm realizing that I'm standing in the middle of the street. And somewhere out there in the darkness, there are at least 2 cops and 1 rogue asshole gnome sneaking around. I pivot on my heel, moving in the clumsy slow motion of dreams, and I'm about to disappear in a puff of smoke like some kind of Looney Tune when a hand grabs me roughly by my arm and drags me down the street towards those flashing lights and those police cars and those consequences for my life choices. It's 7 p.m., and I'm standing on a street corner eating chicken nuggets out of the pocket of my hoodie. I'm doing this for 2 reasons. First, because it's cold outside, and I feel like the insulative properties of my hoodie will serve to keep my tasty chicken nuggets warm. And second, because I'm waiting on my friend, Batman Ben, to pick me up so we can go take a shit ton of shrooms to celebrate that it's Thursday. Batman Ben's running late, and my pockets are running out of delicious nuggets. And as the muted winter sun begins to set behind the construction site for that new Kroger everyone's so excited about, I start to wonder why I'm even out here freezing my nuts off with greasy hands and even greasier empty pockets. And then I remember, it's for drugs. And I'm right back on board. Batman Ben arrives in his fluorescent orange Jeep with his trademark bat symbol spare tire cover. Now, he's wearing one of his 27 Batman shirts, his favorite pair of Batman sunglasses, and his Killing Joke Converse. Batman Ben likes Batman. As he leans over to unlock the passenger side door for me, he flips open the glove box where a loaded bowl of fresh greens is already packed for the drive back to the house. This is why we are friends. It's 8 p.m. and we're finally settling in at the house and making the preparations for the rest of our evening. There are beers to be chilled, joints to be rolled, and my ex-girlfriend's new Netflix password to guess. Batman Ben's cat Loki slinks around the house, just generally being too good for everything and everyone. He's busy trying to demoralize us by pushing a stack of mail off the table when Batman shoos him out of the way so we can begin. We divide up our supply, each of us taking turns picking caps and piling them high on peanut butter sandwiches. Batman says this is to help with the taste. I tell him I don't need a reason to eat a peanut butter sandwich. It's 9 p.m., and this is my new favorite thing. We are watching Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I'm losing my fucking mind. Neil's comforting voice washes over me as he teaches us everything about everything. I am not at one with the universe, but we're holding hands a little. I try to tell Batman that me and the universe are holding hands, and he tells me that's impossible, because the universe doesn't have hands, and even if it did, it'd probably use them to jerk off Carl Sagan. I tell him he's just jealous. It's 10 p.m. We play Portal 2, a game which I had never played before, but it seemed like the main point of which would be to hand my controller to Batman Ben so he could do both parts. Loki the cat wanders in and makes direct eye contact with me immediately. He knows I'm high and he's being really judgy about it. I can just feel it. I wonder if I can communicate with animals now. I telepathically ask Loki what he thinks about political and social instability. Okay. Loki doesn't answer because he's a cat. Yeah, we're going. Instead, Loki walks over and takes a shit in the corner of the room. I wonder if I caused him to do it with my mind. He tells me I didn't. I decide what our evening really needs now is some hookah smoking. Batman says he is out of shisha. With completely unfounded confidence, I tell him I'll handle it, and I throw my hoodie back on and step out into the cold. Now, it's colder than I thought it'd be, and I put my hands in my pockets. Still greasy. I wonder if Batman Ben has any chicken nuggets and immediately forget what I was doing. And I go back inside. It's 11 p.m. and I am a world trapped in a person. And I want someone to explore me. In addition to that, we're doing gravity bongs in the kitchen with a mellow yellow 2-liter. The residual sugar and syrup make every hit taste like a sun drop. Fuck DeForest in my mouth. I clear the chamber, accidentally pulling too hard and sucking some water into my lungs along with the smoke. It spews back out of me immediately in an involuntary hacking fit, misting the kitchen and Batman along with it. Batman wipes his face with a towel and suggests we do something else. I suggest world domination. Batman Ben says, maybe. Instead, we settle on watching Japanese movies with the subtitles off so we can decide for ourselves what's happening. I stare in uncomprehending awe, caught up in the full swell of it now. This is the greatest movie anyone's ever seen. I look over to Batman Ben to tell him how surprised I am that this huge-ass rabbit is so efficiently kicking the shit out of a wizard monk just because they have different opinions on whether or not children should get vaccinated. But he is dozing in his chair. Left to my own devices, I decide it's time for more gravity bong hits and another journey into the cosmos with my newly adopted dad, Neil. But on my way to the kitchen, I see the hookah, which reminds me. It's midnight, and I'm walking around St. Louis trying to find a place to buy shisha and chicken nuggets. I have no concept of time anymore, and I'm outraged that every store I try to enter is closed and locked. I write strongly worded letters of disappointment on receipts I find on the ground and try to shove them under the store's doors. Then I laugh for 12 minutes straight about how stores and doors rhymes. And it's about here that I once again forget what I'm meant to be doing, except this time, I'm not just out on the stoop. I turn to go back the way I came, but everything looks foreign and menacing now, like in those Disney movies where you walk through the woods one way and it's super friendly. And all the animals want to sing with you and give you their social security numbers. But then, on the way back, it's a fucking nightmare. A horror show with trees that want to grope you to death and tell you how you'll never make enough to pay off your student loans. I reached for my phone to ask Siri, hey, what's the fastest route out of Mordor? But my phone isn't there. Now comes the panic of an empty pocket. When you reach for a phone or a wallet and come up wanting, and you wonder if you left it at home or lost it somewhere on the way. It's a truly terrible feeling and not made more enjoyable by mushrooms at all. I try to go buy a mat from a nearby store, but surprise, surprise, it's still closed. I tell the locked door, that's bullshit, brother. It doesn't answer me. I wander off into the night in roughly the direction I had come, doubts beginning to cloud my mind as I pass one unfamiliar street after another. The garden gnome from one of the houses I pass begins to follow me. He doesn't think I know he's there, but I do. I'm so busy listening for little gnome footsteps in the undergrowth that I'm not paying attention. And as I round a corner, the night erupts with blinding light. It's 1 a.m. And I'm standing in the middle of the street in St. Louis, shrooming my ass off and mesmerized by the flashing blue and red lights of 2 police cars. I squint, trying to stare into the epicenter of their brightness, hoping that's where the gnome hid my self-confidence. It's not. And I turn to run away because now I'm realizing that I'm standing in the middle of the street. And somewhere out there in the darkness, there are at least 2 cops and 1 rogue asshole gnome sneaking around. I pivot on my heel, moving in the clumsy slow motion of dreams, and I'm about to disappear in a puff of smoke when a hand grabs me roughly by my arm and drags me down the street towards the lights. I look over at my captor, and the yellow and black bat symbol plastered across his chest. You can't just turn and run away, you fucking idiot, Batman Ben whispers as he drags me down the street. You've been standing in the middle of the street for more than 3 minutes. You're lucky they're busy. Now keep your head down and walk. The sound of my shoes on the sidewalk is too loud. They're going to know, I think. But I walk anyway. Past the cop cars, past the cops, and past one of the 2 prostitutes they're busy arresting. Hey kid, can I borrow your cell phone? One of them asks as we pass. No, I say, and neither can I. How shitty is that? And then we're past them and turning onto a new street. I can see the house, and my asshole finally unclenches. I tell Batman Ben that I didn't get any chicken nuggets. He says he doesn't know what that means. I ask if we can do shrooms every Thursday from now until Zorp returns to devour all of us with his volcano mouth. Batman Ben says, maybe. Thank you, guys.